Day 14. We are on day 14 of unlocking favor with God and people, or go to the next room. Okay, you can try that too. You can try that as well. You can also try to go to the next room, see if it works. But sometimes you just have to do what you gotta do. Go step outside. Hello world. Hello to you too. Second Kings chapter 4. And I want you to have a look at verse 1 to verse 7. Verse 1 to verse 7 of Second Kings chapter 4. And you've probably heard this before. You have probably read this. You can recite it. But we're going to get into it tonight. And we continue to speak about the power of resourcefulness. Yesterday we spoke about the power of resourcefulness, and we continue today to speak about the power of resourcefulness. I want you to put that in the comment section. The power of resourcefulness. And more specifically, what we're talking about tonight, because this is the second part of the series, what we're talking about tonight is how little things unlock big doors. Tonight we're talking about how little things unlock big doors. We are still on the journey of our 30 days of favor. Let's get into it. The wife of a man from the company of the prophets cried out to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead. And you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my 2 boys as his slaves." Here comes a woman. She shows up to the man of God and she says, "Man of God, I'm in trouble. Creditors are coming. The West Bank is coming for me. Absa Home Loans is coming for me. They are coming for me." And in those days, you had a very, very different and very unfortunate system that was at work at that time, which was when you came to an agreement, when you signed the contract, you could use somebody's life as collateral. If you had children, you could use your children as collateral. Some of us, our kids would be gone a long time ago. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to smile when I said that. But listen, you could have your children as collateral, and for them, their sons were collateral, because if you cannot pay me, I'll just take your kids, and your kids will work out the debt, right? Your kids will work to pay the debt that you owe me if you happen to die, or if it so happens that you cannot pay me. That's what would happen. And so in this particular time, they show up and they say, "Listen, you're gonna have to," or rather the woman shows up to the man of God and says, "Listen, they are coming for the kids because I cannot afford to pay them back, and my husband is dead." And what's interesting about this husband of hers is that the husband was clearly a man of God. That's the interesting thing about the husband. The husband was clearly a man of God. He was a prophet. He was from the school of prophets. And so he was a man who walked with the Lord. He was a man who loved God. He was not a bad man, but he was a man who was in debt. He was in debt. And when he died, he left his family in debt. Right? That's what he left as an inheritance for his children. His children would inherit his debt. His wife would inherit his debt. And I highlight that and I point that out to say to you and I here tonight, there is something unfortunate about somebody who is a believer in Christ, about somebody who was walking with the Lord, but somehow lives an oppressed life, economically oppressed, socially oppressed, experiencing none of the power. All of the scriptures, all of the church service, but none of the power. None of the power of which we speak about. There is something unfortunate about that. There is something very sad about that, and it shouldn't be. Right? It shouldn't be. Because how is it? How is it that Day after day, I will tell you about what God has done for me, but for some reason, when you look at my life and when you look at the oppression on my life, you cannot tell. You cannot tell. And for that reason, listen, for that reason, we don't blame. We don't blame the person who the person who looks at the life of said Christian and they say, okay, judging by your life, I don't think I want your religion. Judging by the way you live and how passionate you are about this God, I'm fine. I think I'm fine. We don't judge them because there is something about the life of a believer that you need to understand. You need to understand that when you walk with God, there ought to be a testimony. And when we talk about a testimony, we're not talking about what you share with your words. We're talking about your whole life. Your whole life, just your life. When I look at the way you live, I will force you to speak. I will force you to tell me what's going on. Because how is it that our lives are so different? How is it that my life and your life are complete contrasts? There must be something that you have going on for you. Jesus says pagans run after matters of provision. What happens when I'm a Christian, you're not a Christian, but both of us are running after the same thing? So both of us are chasing after the same thing. What is it that compels you to think that there is something unique, there is something special, there is something about my life, there is something about this God that I claim to serve that would be of any value to you? Surely there's nothing. So we must be honest about it. Is that okay if we are honest about it? Right there in the comment section, say go deeper. We're gonna take this a little deeper. So here's this man. He died. He left his family in debt. He left his children and his wife in trouble. And then in verse 2 it says, Elisha replied to her, "How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?" What do you have in your house? And there is our key question for the day, right? In just a moment, we'll get into it. We'll get into it from the book's perspective as well. But what do you have in your house? Let me show you something. She is crying about what she doesn't have, and he shifts her perspective to what she has. And a person who doesn't understand, a person who lacks understanding will say, what does that have to do with anything? I'm in trouble. I need help. Can you help me or not? So it's no. What do you have in your house? What do you have in your house? Hey, don't ask me what I have in my house. Can you pay for my studies or not? No, what do you have in your house? Can you fund my business or not? What do you have in your house? I have nothing. What do you have in your house? It is that same question. What do you have in your hand? What do you have? You've told us about what you don't have. You've told us about what's missing. You told us what you wish you had. But what do you have? Your servant has nothing there at all. Your servant has nothing there at all. Listen to how she starts off. She says, I have nothing, she said, except a small jar of olive oil. Right there in the comment section, I want you to put that word except. Because that except a small jar of olive oil. I have nothing at all except a small jar of olive oil. And that except would be the major difference in what would happen. That except would be the shift in her mind, the shift that she needed in faith. Because she came talking about what she doesn't have, and she starts off by saying, I have nothing there at all. And when she said except, of course, listen, you cannot say you have nothing and you have a little bit at the same time. That's impossible. Either you have something or you have nothing. And this comes from our exaggeration of our circumstances. I don't know if I'm the only one who, okay, I know I'm not the only one, so I'll be the first one to confess this. But I know that I have the tendency to exaggerate my situation. And when it's happening, you don't feel like you're exaggerating. You only find out after the fact that you were exaggerating. You hear what I'm saying? While you are in it, you don't realize that you're exaggerating. And after the fact, you look back at your life and you realize that I was actually exaggerating. I was exaggerating. Right? It's the person who goes a whole day without eating, and the moment you try to talk to them, they snap at you and they tell you that no wonder your mother doesn't bath. And then later on they come back and they say, listen, I've eaten now, I'm so sorry, I was hungry and I don't know what came over me, but I was really hungry. And when you talk to them, listen, do you really think that your hunger was that bad? Was your hunger really that bad? I don't think your hunger was that bad. I think you were exaggerating the situation. Listen, you realize after the fact that I was really exaggerating. It was never that deep. I was exaggerating my situation in the moment. You remember Esau? You remember Esau, the brother of Jacob, who in a moment of hunger, he so exaggerated his hunger that he thought a bowl of stew was more valuable than his destiny, that a bowl of stew was more valuable than his birthright. And when his brother says, okay, you're going to have to give me your birthright for me to give you a bowl of stew, he says, what good is this birthright to me? What good is this birthright to me? I'm hungry now. And he gives that up. He gives that up. He says, as long as I can eat now, man. And then later on, when you realize that you lost your birthright, you realize, I could have waited. To be honest, I could have waited. I really could have waited a little longer to cook my own food. I could have waited. But here's the point. The point I'm making to us tonight is, just like this woman, some of us have the tendency to exaggerate our situation, to exaggerate our circumstances. What do you mean you have nothing? And then you go on to say, except. Either you have nothing or you have something. Which one is it? No, the thing is, your name, but the thing I have is not that, so it's still nothing because, born, you either have nothing or you have something. What do you have? You hear what I'm saying? It says, your servant has nothing there at all except a small jar of olive oil. Elisha said, go around and ask all your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few. Don't ask for just a few. Then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars, and as each is filled, put it to one side. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to imagine this woman going out there and saying, can I please, do you have any empty jars that I can have? Do you have any empty jars? Do you have any empty jars? And while she is doing this, she must be wondering to herself, how am I going to pull this off? Am I going to end up with empty jars in my house? Am I really going to end up with empty jars? Because she was told, don't ask for just a few. Don't ask for just a few. And here's the thing. The reason why this little hint is so important is because I've said this before. I've said this before. When you come from what you consider to be nothing, you are just happy to have something. You are just happy to have something. Let me take it a step further and say to you, and put it to you like this. I am so grateful that God did not answer my prayer when I was asking for the bare minimum, because I would have settled there. There are certain things I used to pray for in certain seasons of my life. And my prayer, without realizing it, I thought it was humility, but now I know in hindsight that it was false humility. It's a false sense of humility. It's the kind of so-called humility that seeks to manipulate. No, even just a little bit. Even no matter. No, not no. You know, but just a little bit. I don't need too much. And I know, as somebody who comes from nothing, if you had given me that little bit, I would have stayed there. I would have settled there. So I am so grateful. Listen, I am so grateful that when God, rather when I asked God and I said, Lord, please, just this. I'm not even asking for too much. I'm not asking for too much, just a little bit. I'm so glad that I did not see it. And in the moment I was frustrated, but now I know better. Now I know better. I know that if you had given me the little bit back then, that's where I would have settled. That's where I would have stayed. It's where I would have stayed, and it's where I would still be today. Isn't it interesting? So, here's what I'm saying to you. The instruction here for you and I is, don't ask according to your present circumstances. Don't ask according to your present circumstances. You see, if you had to only pursue a vision that is reflective of your present circumstances, might as well not wake up tomorrow morning. You know, it is what it is. Because very often we have the tendency to dream and to ask in a way that reflects our present circumstances. And we think that God is limited by what limits us. We think that God is moved by what moves us. And so when I ask, I pray that little prayer, the one with the false humility. God, I'm not even asking for too much. God, I don't even think I deserve a great man. Just give me, God, give me trumpis. If you just give me trumpis, at least I just don't want to be alone, because I know, God, just something. The young people say, I clocked your tea. I know how you be praying. And it's not even because I'm a prophet. I'm not a prophet. I just know you. Elisha said, go around and ask all your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few. Then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars. And as each is filled, put it to one side. She left him and shut the door behind her and her sons. They brought the jars to her, and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, bring me another one. But he replied, there is not a jar left. Then the oil stopped flowing. She went and told the man of God, and he said, go, sell the oil and pay your debts. you and your sons can live on what is left. Pay your debts, and you will have enough left to live. She went and she told the man of God, and he said, go, sell the oil, pay your debts, and then you and your sons will live on what's left. Friends, I say this to you and I. Listen, here is a woman who is an incredible example for you and I. She is a widow and she is a single mother who was left in trouble, who was left with pretty much a world of trouble. She was about to lose her children. And in that moment, she was pushed to a conversation with this man of God. And when she came to the man of God doesn't lay hands on her. The man of God does not invite her to a crusade. The man of God says, you need to start a business today. What can you use right now? What do you have right now that you can use to start a business today, right now? You have an emergency. You are broke and you need to start a business. You can't keep on waiting. What are you going to do? And from that conversation, and I try to put this in such a simple way so that we can understand this, because oftentimes we try to take it up into the air. No. Let's bring it from the air and just bring it here to us. Here is a woman who was in trouble. She had a problem. And she needed a miracle. And when she gets there, she is not given money. She is not given a prayer. She is given a solution that is met with divine favor. She is given a solution. And the solution was, here's what you're going to do. Here's your business plan. And this is not going to be 5 pages long, 10 pages long. Go out there and do this today. She goes out, she gets the jars, she goes into her house, she starts her little oil business, she goes out, she sells everything, and when she sold everything, listen, she had a business that was so successful, so prosperous, that she didn't only pay off her debts, she paid off and she had enough to live off of. From this one conversation, he said, you and your sons will live on what is left. So you mean to tell me that she had enough to go and pay everything that she owed? Because this must have been a lot of debt since she was so stressed about it. If they were coming for her children and she couldn't even handle that, then this must have been a great debt. And from this one conversation that started with, what do you have? What do you have? And can you imagine, day after day, when she was stressing, when she was crying herself to sleep, when she was running up and down the house, when she was slapping the children just because she's stressed, or maybe she was a good mother, I don't know. But when she was going through all of that, the jar of oil was still there. The oil was there the whole time. The whole entire time it was there. Is that not interesting? Is it not interesting that when God looks at Moses and says, what do you have in your hands? He would say, he would use the same staff that he's had all this time. No, seriously, I've always found it very interesting. I have always found it very interesting that when I finally decided to accept this call, I didn't need to go and get a new voice. God used this. I've been speaking all my life. He's speaking to friends, speaking to family, speaking to everybody. But I never saw the importance of it. I never saw any impact behind it. And is it not interesting that when I brought my request to God to say, God, I need to figure out where I'm going, what I'm doing, how can I become a significant person? How can I become a man who brings value to the lives of others? Can you believe that it's the same voice I've had all my life? Can you believe it? It's the same voice I've had. I didn't need to go and buy a voice. It's the same voice that he used. Isn't that interesting? Let me put it to you this way. Can you believe that the same phone that you are holding right now, that's very same cell phone, can you believe that he can use it for more than what you're using it right now? Listen, if you delete Tinder, you add another app there that might be more useful. You know, delete Tinder, you add LinkedIn, and you know, we cook, we go. No, I want you to hear me. The oil that was used to bring about the miracle is the same oil that was in the house the whole time. It was in the house the whole entire time. And when she goes out there looking for something new, when she goes looking for something new, she is directed back to her house. Back to her house. Let me put it to you this way. On a grand scale, did you know that when you ask God for anything, he doesn't create it anew? Did you know that whatever you are asking God for right now, he doesn't have to create it. It's already here. Okay, let me put it to you like this. Do you know that what you are trusting God for will be unlocked by what you have right now? It's by what you have right now. That's it. She said, I have nothing there at all except a small jar of olive oil. I said, okay, let's get our attention away from nothing and let's get our attention to what you actually have. And I'm telling you right now that your mind is so fascinating that if you direct it towards lack, that's all it will ever see. That is all that it will ever see. And it is so fascinating that if you take some time and you train your mind to find opportunity, it will find it. Do you know that there are certain people, who, no matter where you place them, no matter what they do, no matter what's going on in their lives, they just cannot help but see opportunity. They just cannot help but see blessings. They see it. That when you have a conversation with them about your own life, when you tell them your story, it almost seems as if they're insensitive. It almost seems as if they don't care about your sad story, because immediately they hear the good. They see the good. Tonight we're talking about how little things unlock big doors. My friend, those big doors that you are hoping will open are opened by little things. I want you to have a look at day 14. Day 14 in your devotional. Day 14 of unlocking favor with God and people. Day 14. We're still talking about the power of resourcefulness. And listen, focus in here. Talking about how little things unlock big doors. Zechariah chapter 4 verse 10. Zechariah chapter 4 verse 10. Who dares despise the day of small things? Who dares despise the day of small things? I find it very interesting. You know, the other day, I saw a picture of myself when I was a little baby. Not just a little boy, a little baby. I was about this big. I was about this big because I was a big baby. That's how I became a big man. But I saw a picture of myself, and when I was looking at that, I took a moment to go look at myself in the mirror, and I thought to myself, what? That's 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 the same. That's the same. Because you see, it's interesting to me that you would look at where you are today, that you would look at how far God has brought you. It's interesting to me that you would wonder, right? Listen, you would wonder to yourself, did anybody know? Did anybody see it? Sometimes I look at my mother and I wonder, did she know? Does she have any idea? If she was here with us right now, could she honestly say that she saw this, that she knew this? You hear what I'm saying? Let me. Could she honestly say, when we were going from here to there, from there to there, from there to there, and counting on relatives and counting on so and so, and the domestic workers in our family, did she know? Did she have any idea? Anyway, don't despise the day of small beginnings. Don't despise the day of small things. We're on page 99 and day 14 of Unlocking Favor with God and People. God's kingdom doesn't operate the way the world does. While the world chases after big names, big platforms, and big budgets, God looks at the heart, the hands, and the habits. While the world chases after big names, big platforms, and big budgets, God looks at the heart, the hands, and the habits. One of the most dangerous lies you can believe is this: what I have is too small to matter. One of the most dangerous lies that you can believe is that what you have is too small to matter, that it's not enough, that nothing can come out of it, that it cannot take us anyway. That's a lie, my friend. Nothing could be further from the truth. Throughout Scripture, we see a consistent pattern. God uses small things to unlock big doors. What matters isn't the size of what's in your hand. It's the faithfulness in your heart. It is the faithfulness in your heart. That's what matters. You remember the story of David, who didn't have the appearance of a king, but it was the heart. And when God chooses for David to be anointed king, he says, don't be deceived by the looks. Man judges by outer appearance, but the Lord judges by the heart. So it's not the size of what you have right now. It's not the size of what you're in right now. It's the faithfulness in your heart. What I really want to happen for you is that you would have a complete transformation, right? A complete transformation of your mind. I often make it very simple with my friends when I talk to them. When I talk to my friends, I break it down in the simplest ways, simplest ways. I tell them, listen, do you know that right now, no matter what you are going through, no matter where you are right now, and you feel like you don't have the audience, you don't have this, you don't have that, do you know that it is possible for one of those videos that you posted to just be seen by 1 million people, and that changes your life and your circumstances forever? Do you know that it's possible? No, but you see, the thing is, I don't have. But do you know it's possible? Do you know that it is possible for you to walk outside tomorrow and just so happen to bump into someone and help them, and from you helping them, they never forget your name and they mention your name to the person who holds the key to opening up a door that you have been praying would be opened in your life? See, there are certain things, when favor comes, we see it as an accident. There are certain things that we interpret as random occurrings, random happenings. There are certain things we interpret as that. But there's nothing random about favor. There's nothing random about it, my friend. I've never thought that it was random. I have learned in my life through personal experience, I have learned that when you are in alignment, it is possible for God to get somebody from the other side of the country, even the other side of the world, to send them to come and see about you. Doesn't know you, never met you. And there's nothing random about that. You mean to tell me that is random? Out of all the people in the world, it's me? There's nothing random about it. But it starts with the little things. It starts with faithfulness with the little that I have. In 2 Kings chapter 4, a widow was drowning in debt. Creditors were threatening to take her sons as slaves. Desperate, she turned to Elisha the prophet for help. His response was simple but profound. In 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 2, which we just read, "Tell me, what do you have in your house?" At first, her answer reveals a mindset of lack. A mindset of lack is what's revealed in the first half of her answer, which is this: "Your servant has nothing there at all," she said, "except a small jar of olive oil." That except was everything God needed. That except was everything God needed. Elisha tells her to borrow as many jars as she can, go into her house with her sons, and start pouring the oil. As she poured, the oil kept flowing until every jar was full. When she ran out of jars, the oil stopped flowing. She sold the oil, paid her debts, and lived on what was left. Here it is. Her miracle didn't start with a donation, a handout, or a lottery ticket. I'm going to say that again. Her miracle didn't start with a donation, a handout, or a lottery ticket. That's not how it started. It started with a small jar of oil and obedience. It started with a small jar of oil and obedience. You know how many of us ignore the jar of oil, upset that somebody won't give a donation? That's real. So many of us, for so long, have been ignoring the jar of oil because we're upset that somebody is not giving us a handout. And some of us have determined that we will not prosper until we are given that handout. That the reason we are not getting ahead is because they haven't given us that handout. The reason that nothing is happening, the reason that doors are not opening, is because they haven't given me that handout, because they haven't given me that donation, because they're refusing to invest in me. Because Potgieter still has the land and is refusing to give me the land. Right? We have so many excuses, endless. And what we do is we ignore everything that we have. We ignore everything in the house. We ignore everything in our hands. We ignore everything that God has given to us, which is meant to unlock the next level. We ignore all of it. Because we think that our destiny is held captive by what we don't have. Listen, favor. Where am I? Oh, okay. Small seeds produce great harvests. Jesus said in Matthew 13, verse 31 and 32. Verse 31 and 32 of Matthew 13. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants. It is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants. Small things, when sown in the right soil and season, carry great power. Let me say that again. Small things, when sown in the right soil and season, carry great power. A small act of faith, a small obedient yes, a small idea you don't ignore, a small offering given with a pure heart, a small connection you honor. These are often the very things that unlock favor, opportunity, and multiplication. These are often the very things that unlock favor, opportunity, and multiplication. It's the things we take for granted. It's the things we don't acknowledge. You hear what I'm saying? Those are the things that God uses. Those are the things that bring about that multiplication. I'll tell you now, if you can recall the time in your life when you experienced great breakthrough, you will trace it down to a decision that was made in the moment that didn't seem like much. Perhaps a conversation that you didn't think would lead to anything. Perhaps a meeting that you honored that you didn't think would have anything come out of it. Perhaps an idea that came to you at the most random time which didn't seem like it would bear the kind of fruit that it has. There's always a small moment. There is always a moment when everything shifts. It is always connected to some small moment. A yes. And then we come back and we say, if I hadn't, listen, it's so crazy. If I hadn't said yes there, if I hadn't went ahead and done that, if I hadn't done that, then this wouldn't have happened. A favor doesn't come to the idol. Favor doesn't come to the idol. This is one of my favorite parts of this series. Let's be honest. Some of us are waiting for the spectacular while neglecting the simple. What's going on? Is my network good? Somebody said no sound and somebody said network. We good? All good. Okay. When you see somebody say that the network is bad, please interrupt them and tell them it's just them so that I know. Because when that's the only message I see, I assume that the rest of you can't send because your network is also bad. Right. Okay, so we're good. Let's be honest. Some of us are waiting for the spectacular while neglecting the simple. We're neglecting the simple, but we are expecting the spectacular. We say, when I have more, I'll do more. But God is saying, if you'll do more with what you already have, I'll trust you with more. If you do more, with what you already have, I'll trust you with more. And so we're kind of in a standoff with God, right? We're kind of in a standoff where we say, the day I get more, then I'll do something. Just wait, right? Wait for the day I get my breakthrough. Wait for the day I go to the next level. Wait for the day I get the promotion. When my things are like this, I'll take care of you. Now that I think of it, okay, between you and I think that might be the reason why my uncles didn't have the breakthrough they waited for, because they would always make promises about one day. I'm China when I do this, I'm China when I get that, I'm China when I get that. I just want 2 rand now, today, just 2 rand today. I need to share this with them. Listen, we say, when I have more, I'll do more. But God is saying, if you'll do more with what you already have, I'll trust you with more. You can't keep saying one day, one day, one day. You'll be trusted with more if you do more with what you have right now. Favor is not random. It is attracted by movement, obedience, and faithfulness. Even when it seems small, especially when it seems small. Galatians chapter 6 verse 7. Galatians chapter 6 verse 7. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. A man reaps what he sows. And how unfortunate it is that many of us are waiting to sow we are waiting to reap before we can sow. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Saying things like, I'll start when I have this, that's the same thing as saying, I'll plant some seeds when I get some apples. You're never going to eat apples. Yeah, you're never going to eat apples. That's never going to happen for you. Right? Now I'll start doing this when this happens. Yeah, that's not happening. That's what you can forget. You can forget. Let's just move on. It's fine. So, here are some reflection questions and our challenge for day 14. Some reflection questions and our challenge. First question for you to reflect on from day 14. Have I been underestimating the small resources or opportunities in my life? Have I been underestimating the small resources or opportunities in my life? I want you to pause. I want you to really reflect. Are you making the most of everything that you get? Or are there things that you take for granted because they're not enough? Because it is not what you are waiting for. It is not what you are expecting. And so you take it for granted. Let me put it to you this way. I'll use the example of relationships, and later on in this same series, I think the day after tomorrow, we're going to talk about how we steward relationships. Do you anger me? Don't anger me. You call me while I'm... Anyway, I'm here now. Here's what I'm saying. Do you know that there are people who are taking the people in their lives for granted because they think there is someone better coming? Because we think there's someone better coming, The people that we have right now, we take for granted. Not knowing that if you don't know how to manage relationships at this level, forget about the next level. Forget about anybody else. Forget about more. You cannot be trusted with more. You hear what I'm saying? Some of us taking opportunities that we have for granted. It might be an internship. Yeah, they don't pay me enough anyway. Well, in light of how you're handling what you have right now, do you really think they would want to pay you more? Listen. Don't listen too fast. Okay, I'm going to speak slow so you can listen slow as well. In light of how you are handling what you have right now, do they have a reason to trust you with more and in turn give you more? Do not take for granted what you have right now. So here's the question. The question for your reflection, and you will sit down and reflect for yourself. Let me read that again. Have I been underestimating the small resources or opportunities in my life? Second question. Is there something I need to start doing consistently, even if it seems insignificant now? Is there something I need to start doing consistently, even if it seems insignificant now? Some of you know Teddy. I don't know if he's in here right now, but if you check Teddy's page, you know what I told him? I told him, you are going to post a video every day for 100 days. Because he said he wants to be a speaker and he wants to do this. I said, okay, fine. I know you want to be a speaker. So now I want you to post a video every day for 100 days. Do you think you can manage that? Because if you can't manage that, then let's forget about anything else. I don't think you and I have any business working with each other. I don't think you and I have any business talking. I can't help you with anything. Right now, this is a simple task that you can do every single day. Grab your phone, record a 60-second video and post it. Do the same thing tomorrow. Keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so that is the small thing. But I'm asking you, you would know what that thing is for you. But what is the small thing that you need to do consistently, even if it seems like it's not doing anything for you? For somebody else, it might be volunteering in the area of your qualification. Right? Volunteering in the area of your qualification. Because you feel like nobody's giving you a chance, nobody's giving you an opportunity. Okay? Let me just volunteer. Seems insignificant now, but it's leading to something. Right? It's leading to something. So, third question for your reflection. What might God want to multiply in my life if I begin to steward it better? What might God want to multiply in my life if I begin to steward it better? In other words, what is your little bit of oil? You see, for this woman, it was the little bit of oil that was multiplied. So what is your little bit of oil that God can multiply if you begin to handle it better? Sit down and think about it for yourself. And once you identify that thing that you want God to multiply, you give yourself to it. You stop playing safe. You stop being scared. You run straight into it. Just listen to me. Run straight into it. Right? So, a challenge for you. For us to wrap this up. and listen closely. Choose one small thing you've been overlooking. A habit, a connection, a gift, or a task. Commit to showing up for it daily this week and watch how God begins to stretch and multiply it. Right? Whatever that thing is. And we're stepping into a new week now. It's a Sunday night. We're in a new week. So choose that one small thing, whether it's a habit, whether it is a connection, whether it is a gift that you have, or whether it is a task that you are given. Commit to doing it with excellence for this next week. Commit to it. Commit to showing up for it daily and watch how God begins to stretch and multiply that thing. And you will never wonder again, my friend. You will never again wonder if God is really on your side. If God is really going to answer your prayer. You will never wonder again. So, do that for yourself. All right? Do that for yourself. Okay. I'm gonna repeat these questions one more time. Why? Because I'm working on my patience. Number one. Have I been underestimating the small resources and opportunities in my life? Have I been underestimating the small resources and opportunities in my life? Number two, is there something I need to start doing consistently, even if it seems insignificant now? Is there something I need to start doing consistently, even if it seems insignificant now? And then number three, what might God want to multiply in my life if I begin to steward it better? What might God want to multiply in my life if I begin to steward it better? And then, here's a challenge for you, right? Choose one small thing you've been overlooking. Choose one small thing you've been overlooking. A habit, a connection, a gift, or a task. Commit to showing up for it this week. Commit to showing up for it daily this week. Commit to showing up for it daily this week and watch how God begins to stretch and multiply it. Commit to showing up daily. That's what we're going to do this week. That is what we're excited for. And by the way, if you don't have the book, you need to get yourself this book. You need to get yourself Unlocking Favor with God and People, so that you have the questions and I don't have to repeat them. But I love you all. I appreciate you.